My name is Ann Armstrong. I am a hike leader with the Iroquois Bruce Trail Club with the Halton Outdoor Club, and I coordinate a retirement club walking group. I've been hiking for about 30 years, started with the Boy Scouts with my husband. I served on the board of directors for Iroquois as their hiking director, and I'm still active teaching the hike leader certification course with Hike Ontario.
Needless to say, you're a very experienced hiker with so much knowledge you can share with us. I was wondering if you could share with us what essentials anyone should bring for a hike.
Well, one of the things I think everybody should have is, number one, a first aid kit in case something goes wrong. Some kind of navigation device, whether it's the Bruce Trail reference guide or an app, but some kind of navigation guide with you. You should have water. You should have food of some kind. You should have, some people carry a knife, good idea, a whistle to attract attention, cell phone, essential for leaders. You should have, in today's problem with ticks, I always carry a tick remover, but not everybody has to do that. Sometimes extra socks, some kind of shelter, or if not a shelter, an emergency blanket in case somebody has a fall and has to be kept still. I also suggest that all hikers carry an app on their phone called What 3 Words. Basically, it allows EMS to reach you wherever you are on the trail. Rain jacket if it looks like it's going to rain, a hat. I think I said sunscreen, insect repellent. We had a lot of insects this year. Those are just some of the essentials, but I suggest you can go on Google and you can Google 10 essentials and they will all be there for you to see. But at a minimum, water, food, a rain jacket, and a first aid kit. Oh, and if you're going into hard hiking places, like a lot of the Bruce Trail, trekking poles or hiking poles are very useful.
And what sort of clothing do you recommend for hiking?
Well, that's a very leading question, except that there are do's and don'ts for hiking. Don't wear cotton. It takes a long time to dry out. If it gets wet, you're going to end up getting cold. Don't wear jeans. Again, same thing. You should wear layers if possible. So in the summer, maybe you might have a single layer. You might want to put a layer with long sleeves to protect your arms. Quick dry clothing is really good. Nylon-based pants. Any good outdoor store, including places like Mark's, will have quick dry clothing. Good boots or some kind of good walking shoes on your feet. No open-toed shoes, no flip-flops. And although there's a group of people that like to go barefoot, not recommended. So I like to wear a good boot that goes up around my ankle when I'm working on really rocky territory, such as a lot of the Bruce Trail. And if I'm on something like a rail trail or an easy trail without rocks, then I will wear a good walking shoe or approach shoe, I think is what they call them. Just be sensible about it. In winter, again, you can wear layers starting with a base layer and then maybe a fleece layer and then a layer over top of that. In winter, also recommended for icy conditions are some kind of micro spikes for your boots. I use Catula micro spikes, but there's a lot of different makes out there. I think for me, the biggest thing is don't skimp on money-wise buying your boots or buying your micro spikes. I found too many little so-called things to help you walk on ice on the trail or hanging on a tree.
So we've talked about what we should pack, what we should wear. Let's talk about general tips and hiking etiquette that people should follow while hiking the trails.
Okay, the main reason we're going out on hiking trails is to A, challenge ourselves, B, enjoy nature. But the most important thing is to enjoy where you are and your environment and to allow others to enjoy it as well. So when you're out on the trails, make sure you keep to the right as if you were on a highway or a sidewalk so you avoid bumping into people. If you have a dog, the dog should be on a leash. And most importantly, if your dog leaves tracings on the trail, whatever you want to call it, pick it up and take it out with you. Just because you leave your dog poo in a compostable bag does not mean that you can throw it off into the bush. So please take it out. Pack in, pack out, leave no trace on the trails behind you. Give way to other people if you have a large group coming towards you. If you stay on your side and they stay on your side, you can pass each other safely. Just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of other people, and so that everybody can enjoy themselves when they're out there.
I just want to go circle back to dogs for a quick moment. Why should dogs be on leashes when they go hiking?
Okay, so this is a very important one for me. Dogs should be kept on a leash, not only for the safety of others around them, because not all people are comfortable with dogs, but for their own safety. Here in Hamilton and other places as well, there are a lot of coyotes around that could cause an interaction between your dog and the coyote, and there's always the issue of ticks. Not everybody is comfortable with dogs, and probably for the safety of the dog, because of wildlife around, not only can the wildlife come after your dog, but perhaps your dog can go after wildlife. And if we're asking hikers to stay on the trail, I think we want dogs to stay on the trail as well, because of ticks, because of poison ivy, and because of wildlife.
Let's quickly segue into poison ivy with mentioning that dogs may go into poison ivy. What about people? How do you identify poison ivy? I know a lot of people are worried about it while on the trail.
Okay, poison ivy, I call it a chameleon because it can not only be a vine that crawls across the ground, but it can climb a tree. There are a few trees that I know of in the Hamilton area, Borers Falls I'm thinking of, that has a poison ivy climbing 30, 40 feet up a tree. So that's one form of poison ivy. There's also a woody variety where it has woody stems that grow up 2-3 feet, and then all the stems of the poison ivy come off of that woody part of the plant. Now, poison ivy, we say leaves of 3, let it be. But there are lots of plants out there with leaves of 3. With poison ivy, it's significant that there's a main stem, and then there will be 2 leaves on either side of it that are almost hanging on to the stem. And then the 3rd leaf will have an extra bit of stem, so it raises it slightly above the other 2 leaves. And there'll be no other leaves under that bunch of 3 leaves at the top. The leaves can be serrated, but they can also be smooth. In the spring, when poison ivy comes up, it comes up red, and when it dies back in the fall, it dies back to yellow and then red. It does have a flower that grows under the leaves. It's a beautiful flower. It looks like it belongs in a bridal bouquet. It's just a lovely spray of white. In the fall, those flowers produce white seeds that cling to the plant, but then fall to the ground. So other plants like hog peanut and the top part of wild sarsaparilla also have, and also some of the berry bushes have the leaves of 3, but they're quite different. Berry bushes have spikes on them, thorns, whereas poison ivy does not have thorns of any kind on it. And hog peanut crawls along the ground. So those are just a couple of examples that can imitate poison ivy. If you're ever on the trail with an experienced leader, it's not a bad idea if she finds it or he finds it, they can point it out to people. I have people ask me all the time, I forgot what it looks like. Can you point it out to me?